So I haven't been able to find a good review of Chinese made carbon wheels on YouTube. I'm sure they exist, but there's just so many reviews that don't tell me anything. So I'm decided to buy a back rim from China and pay about $200. Pick one of the generic hubs and give you a real honest comparison. Look forward to it. See you then. Hey folks, so this was not going to be an unboxing video at all, but I will unbox this wheel and then we'll get into a practical review a little bit later. Box from China arrived today. It's a little bit crushed. I'm going to open it up and see what's inside. Not a whole lot of cardboard protecting the hub, but all the right bits and pieces. And look at that. That's exactly what I ordered. I ordered the 5 centimeter deep rim clincher with braking surface here. I ordered gloss. I specified gloss for this bike, and it comes with bladed spokes. The hub I ordered was a straight ball hub. The big question is it straight? Looks to be straight, and you know what? That rim is wide. So one of the reasons I picked this one is because it's I think it's a 23 mil wide rim. One thing I will say straight up is that this braking surface is unlike any I've seen before. It looks like some kind of it looks like the original undercoat, and then the gloss, it feels like the gloss is actually raised above this rim surface. The rim surface hasn't been added on top, the gloss has been added on top. I can feel that with my finger. But you can see this blade is twisted, almost, not quite, it's about 45 degrees, this one is too. I'll probably adjust, yeah, quite a few of them are. I'll have to adjust those. Check the bearings, if you bear with me. Feel good. They feel good. What else was in the box? So these two spokes are different lengths. I'd say that one of them is 2 to 3 millimeters longer than the other. Maybe 3 mils. So that's good. That means one of them is drive side and one of them is not. Pads are included. I'm sure these aren't Durays. It's pretty heavy, pretty bulky at this, actually. Yeah, you can tell the weight is all at this end, so I'm not going to use this thing. But this is the non-drive side, and I want to see if you can hear this. And then this is the tightest spoke. It's really tight. And this is the loosest spoke. It is super loose. I mean, only just a couple of turns and this would be rattling here. So we got a little bit of issue. I mean, the wheel kind of looks true, but what we'll do is once we get it in the bike, I'll adjust some of the spokes and see how close to true I can get it. I guess the other thing just to note on the design of the wheel and the spokes is that the nipples are on the interior of the rim, whereas with many, I guess, higher end wheels, the nipples are actually hidden on the inside, much closer to the brake track, which means that when you adjust them, you're adjusting kind of what happens out here at the outside of the rim rather than what happens here on the inside of the rim. So, you know, you've got less adjustability with a design like this, but that's okay, and that's kind of what I expected from the price that I paid for these wheels. So the weight of this wheel is advertised at 820 grams in this configuration with this hub. Yeah, and this rim is 820 grams plus or minus 15. So if you're feeling charitable, you'd give it 835 grams. Now I weighed this without the tire, without the rim tape, without skewer. It comes in at 884 grams actual. So that's quite far over, really. If you're expecting 820 grams and you get 884, even if you add the 15 grams in that they say plus or minus, I'm not really sure why that is, but for this configuration, then you're still out by 6%. So, you know, without that 15 grams, probably more like 8 or 10%. So expect an up to 10% variation from what you see advertised in terms of weight. Now, the control wheel that I've been using on the bike that I'll do the testing on weighs in at 890, 895, so very, very comparable. 884, 890, 95, and that's without the tyre, without the glue that holds the tyre on, and without the skewer. Yes, it's a tubular, and this is a clincher, so they're going to roll slightly differently. But for the purposes of this comparison, they're sort of similar, because although this wheel is older, I mean, it's still a carbon fibre wheel, and it's the same depth of the section. Although it's a little bit older, it's also straight pull spoke, and I also, just wanted to set the bar kind of low to see if we could break it. Also notice that the bladed spokes on the Chinese wheel are much fatter. They're almost twice as fat as the bladed spokes on this control wheel, which, just to state the obvious, is a Western brand, which is the purpose of the test here. So maybe the bladed spokes add a bit of weight, and as I mentioned before, I've got this glossy finish on here, and that could have added some weight, but not enough to justify a variance of 6%. So anyway, that's weight. And then tyre fit, I just put this tyre on. I was keen to know how it would fit, because I've got a set of quite expensive carbon clincher wheels. The tyres just sort of fall on. You don't need any tools, they just drop on there. They're so loose on the wheel that you actually wonder if you're safe at higher pressures on a corner. And then I've got other wheels where the tyre is absolutely impossible to get on. You need all kinds of tools, and you try to avoid damaging the rim. You'll break tyre levers by trying to get the tyres on, and you think that you're going to break the bead of the tyre as well. It's that difficult. And then you wonder to yourself, how am I going to change this flat in a flat situation? How am I going to get this tyre off? These wheels are right in the middle, which is where I want them to be. I got this tyre on without using any levers at all, but only just. That's exactly where I want to be. So in a flat situation, I should be able to get this tyre back off without levers if I have to. So I'm happy about that. Tyre on so that this can be a good test. And I've realised that there's something inside the rim. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's something sliding around inside the rim here, which I'll have to get hold of if I can the next time I take the tyre off. Weird. Probably ridden it now 100 miles over different terrain. So this is not a long-term test by any stretch. Haven't ridden it in the rain yet, but I'm ready to give you some thoughts. So here we go. Brake track. I left my old pads on because I wanted this to be a like-for-like comparison, and didn't use the pads in the box, even though they're Dura-Ace. And initially the brake feel wasn't good. But of course, once the pad got kind of broken in on that track, everything was fine. I don't know how long they're going to last, but everything is really fine for the braking surface compared to my other wheels. The only thing is I haven't tried it in the rain, so I have no idea. I don't know how it will work in the rain. So that's brake track. Bearings, still no play, so that's good. Not a problem with those at all. Aesthetics. Everything looks really cool. I love the gloss. Initially I didn't think I'd like the gloss, but I do. It looks a little different. It's easy to wipe down. The other thing about aesthetics is the noise of the free hub. It's loud. It's really loud. Maybe makes you safer, who knows. Trueness of the wheel hasn't changed. It's still got a little bit of run out, like a millimeter run out laterally. Maybe more like 2 mils out. I think it's at least 2 millimeters out. So maybe it did get a little bit worse. I've been beating up on it a little bit. I will take this wheel to a shop or find my wheel jig and true it properly. Probably back off some of the spokes and almost start again. The wheel's stiff. It's really stiff. super stiff. Yeah, it's pretty stiff. It is a really stiff wheel. It's super stiff. In a good way and in a bad way. It's not forgiving. It's just as stiff as the control wheel, which is, you know, probably 10 years old. So I guess I was hoping for a little bit more flexibility and comfort. So consider a 28 tire. I'm riding 25s. Consider a 28 for a wheel like this. It's not the fastest wheel, but it isn't slow either. It doesn't spin up very quickly. It's not that easy to climb on. I've done a lot of climbing on this wheel. It doesn't feel light at the rim. It actually feels heavier than the control wheel, even though the control wheel is the same overall weight. It not being true doesn't help very much. There's something about it that feels a little bit sluggish. I don't know if it's the extra width, probably not, but the width of the rim does make it super stable, so that's good. It's nice and stable. It's really wide, but you'd get that with any wide rim. It feels really solid. I mean, I've ridden it pretty quickly. Well, I've definitely done 40 miles an hour on it so far. Doesn't feel unsafe. And I thought I would be saying that it doesn't matter, they're all made in the same factory. It doesn't, you know, just save some money. I don't think safety is an issue, but I do think that in terms of the way it feels and the way it rolls, you do get what you pay for. Would I recommend a rim? Yeah, if you only want to spend 200 bucks, sure. But it's not going to be 200 bucks because you're going to need to true it. And if you can't do that yourself, you need to take it to a bike store. So, you know, figure in 250 bucks. And then you need a tire. You should get 28. So 250 bucks plus a tire. My overall recommendation, my long-term recommendation would be save $200 more and spend 400 bucks on a used zip or something, head or whatever. If you buy a used wheel and it's a 9-speed, you can still run that on an 11-speed bike, but that's all for a different video. Thanks for watching.